Liverpool 4, Shrewsbury 1 as goals from Kaide Gordon, Roberto Firmino and a Fabinho Brace secured the win for the Reds after they initially fell behind to the League One opposition. Hello and welcome to the Debrief Live on the Blood Red YouTube channel with me, Patrick Smith, and I'm glad to be joined by Theo Squires. Theo, what's your initial reaction to that one?
I suppose the scoreline flattered Liverpool a little bit, but then you consider everything that's happened this week with the training ground shutting down, all the players with COVID. You look at the lineup, so many youngsters. I think it's 7 have come through the youth ranks in one form or another, and it's a good result for Liverpool. They weren't at their best by any means, but then you wouldn't expect them to be in all these circumstances. You've just got to go out there, do your job, and get through to the next round, and that's exactly what they've done. You can take the positives out of it, and the fact that the youngsters who've come in, they've done well. Conor Bradley, in particular, he was superb today. And you compare that to last month when he was subbed at half-time, I think, against Leicester City. But you look at the lineup, it shows the difference that having the senior players in the right positions makes when you're naming a change side. Like, it was a very young defence against Leicester last month, and Liverpool struggled for it. Today, they had the senior players in the right positions, and while they weren't at the most threatening in attack, they still looked in control for the majority. They limited Shrewsbury. Didn't have too many chances. They dominated the ball, which is exactly what Peter Kroritz promised in the pre-match press conference yesterday, that they'd play their way. All you can say as a criticism is you'd like them to create a bit more going forward, but they've still scored 4 goals. They've still got Kaide Gordon with his first goal, Firmino back in the goals, and Fabinho's got a brace. Who thought would ever be able to say that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's good to see so many academy faces playing today, But which youngster impressed you the most?
It would be Conor Bradley. He's set up 1 goal. He's played a huge part, I think, in Firmino's one as well, by just having that awareness to keep the ball in play, never giving up to keep it in. And he was great throughout. The only slight thing you say against them is the Shrewsbury goal came from his flank. But for the rest of it, offensively, he was brilliant. He was getting up and down the line. He was supporting Kaide Gordon well, whether he was going outside to the flanks or if he was making an inverted run. He just had that right attitude, and right at the full-time whistle when they're all doing their little congrats and everything, Virgil van Dijk made a beeline for him to give him some special praise. Kaide Gordon as well, he caught the eye. He's a special player. We've known that ever since Liverpool signed him. It's good to see him get his first goal. It's really cool feat from in the box to bring Bradley's cross under control and just slot it in the corner. It'd be easy for a youngster to just smash it out or try and slice it, rush the chance, but he had the composure to pick his spot and make sure he got his goal. Those are the 2 that stand out. But Tyler Morton, he almost doesn't feel like a youngster anymore. He's been part of the team for a good few months now, and he's just done what we've seen from him all through the season. He looks so good on the ball. These are the 3 that were part of the Liverpool first team thinking. There was a couple more in there, but you say maybe it's too soon for Max Waltman. But he's always going to struggle against 3 big League One centre-backs when he's an 18-year-old making his first start for the club. It was never going to be easy for him. And then Dixon Bonner, he had his moments, but he's another one who you think, well, he almost left in the summer. I think he was on trial at Portsmouth or somewhere like that. It'll be a day for him to remember, but you imagine he's not going to get too many more playing in the Liverpool first team.
Well, I'm going to start with Shrewsbury's goal. It was kind of sloppy from Liverpool, wasn't it? And especially Conor Bradley, who had a fantastic game, but he fell asleep on that one a bit, didn't he, Theo?
Yeah, you'd like to see him try and cut the cross out, but at the same time, you can't be happy with Konate. Like, for some reason, he just leaves it in the middle, and Udo gets in between the 2 centre-backs, and it's a simple finish for him to give Shrewsbury their big moment. It made a game of it almost, because it gave Shrewsbury's fans something to celebrate, and it meant Liverpool had to come out and play a bit better. But it's not a goal you want to be conceding. I think Liverpool have been a bit sloppy defensively in recent weeks, conceding goals they shouldn't. And even though you've got 3 of your senior centre-backs out there today, you're still expecting something like that to happen. And it's just, he runs down the wing. It's a good delivery into the box, but you like to see a bit more effort to block the cross in, and then you don't expect to see your centre-back, for whatever reason, leave it. I'm not sure if there was a shout from the keeper or the shout from Van Dijk. You wouldn't expect it to be, because the keeper doesn't move to come and claim it. And if any shout from Van Dijk, it would be you've got to get hold of this. It must be like a mix-up in communication or something like that. But yeah, it was a sloppy goal. But then it's almost what Liverpool needed, because at least it got them to raise their levels a little bit. And it seemed like they could be in for not a hard afternoon, but a tricky one. Because when that happens, all Shrewsbury needs to do is sit back, defend, hit Liverpool on the counter-attack. If they'd managed to, say, get through to half-time without conceding, they could have caused a real upset today. But Liverpool got their goal at a good time. It worked in their favour.
Well, Kaide Gordon certainly one is very exciting to watch. But how important will that goal be for his confidence?
Yeah, I think it'll be a nice little starter for him. Like, it's almost not happened for him this season in the fact that when there have been opportunities for younger players, he's been injured and he's not been able to have that chance. He made his debut in the League Cup against Norwich, but I think this is probably his first senior Anfield appearance since pre-season. I know he's been on the bench a couple of times, and one of the friendlies, I can't remember which one, he had a great chance to score in that, and he was 1-on-1 and he put it wide. I think that could have been a great chance to get your first Anfield goal, but that was just a friendly. He's shown so much composure to bring this down and score today, and he was a threat whenever he was on the ball. He was unfortunate not to score before that when he cut inside, had a low effort near to the near post, and the keeper's got down low to tip it out. But yeah, he looks a talent. He's looked a talent ever since Liverpool signed him a year ago. That's why he was so highly rated at Derby County. And it's funny when you think of Derby County, the fact that last year they cup run where they had to play the youngsters, they'd already gone at that point. If you're a big football fan, you'll know the turmoil going on for Wenger and his side there when younger players are having to be turned to. Kaide Gordon, if he was still there, he'd have been playing 20, 30 games for them easily over the past year if he'd making this progress. Instead, he's got 2 or 3 at Liverpool, but he's in the right place to progress. He knows he's going to have to be a bit more patient to get into the first team, but so far the signs are good. That's a start of getting that first goal for the club, first at Anfield. I think it's first Anfield start, second youngest player in the club's history, youngest in the FA Cup. He's ticking the boxes.
Well, yeah, because normally young players can sort of lash at those chances, couldn't they? But yeah, very composed, very impressive from him. We're going to move on to Fabinho. A Fabinho brace, as you said, who'd have thought that would have happened? But yeah, the penalty. Do you think it should have been a penalty, Theo?
Yeah, I think so. The hand's in the air. It's not a natural position, is it? It blocks the header. I don't think there was any disbelief that had been given around us. I think it's a straightforward penalty. The only question was who takes it. No James Milner, no Mohamed Salah, obviously. But then you remember Fabinho's record before he came to Liverpool for penalties was exceptional. I think he scored a couple in shootouts for Liverpool, but you don't really remember them the same way you would if you stepped up. So Fabinho penalties, Liverpool fans tend to think of his awful one in pre-season just after he signed when he lashed one, I think, miles wide against Torino. But his record was like 21 scored from 22 from Monaco.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he only missed 1 penalty from Monaco. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but yeah, crazy record.
So good to see him. I suppose we can say this is a 100% record for Liverpool because it's competitive games. But there was no doubt about it. Like, it's an emphatic spot kick, sends the keeper the other way. And it's good, especially if Liverpool going to take these cup competitions seriously and progress. There could be some more shootouts to come. It's not just 2 worthy takers they've got. Fabinho certainly makes that 3.
Well, another positive today, we're seeing Curtis Jones back after his lengthy injury layoff. How important is it to see him back, especially with our reduced options, we say, midfield at the moment?
Very important.
Albeit in a different role today.
He played a few roles today. He had a spell in the front 3, had a spell in midfield. And it's another player. It's not really happened for him this season. Like, I think he got picked up an injury in pre-season, and then he dropped to the back of the pecking order, and he almost got forgotten because Harvey Elliott started the season so well. And then he got his chance. He scored, I think it was against Brentford, and he looked really lively. And then he got the eye injury. Then he comes back and he gets COVID. There's a talented player in there, and it's just going to be hard for him to get opportunities when everyone's fit. But Liverpool haven't had everyone fit. And then you're looking at these options and you think, I wish Curtis Jones was available because this would be a great chance for him to stake his claim. And today he has. Considering how young a team it was, it is easy to forget. He is one of these youngsters too. He's one of these academy graduates too. But he's so mature in that side. And he's looked so calm on the ball. He's linking up well with his teammates. It would have been good to see him do a bit more, I think, in the front 3, just because we know Mane and Salah aren't going to be here for the month. You want to see another option emerge as a strong contender to fill that front 3. But the fact that he was put in midfield, I don't think that was a slant on him. I think that was just that Liverpool wanted to get a bit more control in the midfield, so they felt they could put Dixon Bonner out wide and have that more senior player in the engine room. But yeah, he is slowly becoming a senior player in this side. If he has his way and Liverpool have his way, this progression, he's going to be part of this squad for 10, 15 years. And we'll see many more academy players follow him through into the ranks. But yeah, it's like, well, they need these options. And he's come back at a good time because we know the club confirmed Trent Alexander-Arnold's got a positive COVID test before the game. But with all the absentees, like, you can see the number of senior names missing on that squad list today. We're not sure how many of them have got COVID. We're not sure how many of them are injured or how many of them have just been given the day off for a rest. There's so much uncertainty there. So to see these players who are available, he's coming back at a good time, and especially when you think, well, Naby Keita's at the AFCON as well. He could, if he has a good month, push ahead of him in the pecking order. There's very much some places up for grabs there. We don't know how long Thiago's going to be out for example. When you got all that competition, it's a good time for him to come in and put in a mature performance like he did today.
Well, another big return, especially during AFCON, is the return of Roberto Firmino off the bench, and a typically classy finish from him, Theo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was cheeky back heel. It's what we love seeing from Roberto Firmino, isn't it? He just comes on, big smile on his face, and he scores a goal like that. It was great play from Bradley, like I mentioned earlier in the build-up. Does a lovely little cutback after keeping the ball in play to Konate, and it's fallen to the wrong player, hasn't it? You want Firmino to be on there smashing it in, but the fact that he wasn't, and it was the centre-back could scuff it straight to him. He takes the touch and then just back heels it. There's not much you can say about Roberto Firmino. He's been part of this team for so long. His goal scoring record is really good this year, and I don't think people have realised that because Jota's scoring so many, because Salah's scoring so many, and because he's been injured for quite a bit, which is unlike him. But he's still coming up trumps, making the impact, and it's a good time for him to come in and get amongst the goals, because you're still game to game. We don't know what Liverpool front three is going to be, because Minamino's returned from injury today. Don't know how long Origi's out for. Salah's obviously at AFCON. Mane's at AFCON. We don't know with Jota's absence. Well, does that mean he's injured? Does that mean he's got COVID? Does that mean he was being rested? At least we've got one senior forward. We know, yes, he should be available against Arsenal. He's had COVID, so he can't get it again, and he's going into that game off a goal.
Well, of course, to round off the performance as well, Fabinho with a lovely finish at the end, Theo.
Yeah, he's. I think it was Simicast. Must be like Simicast's first touch. He comes on right at the death, takes a free kick, whips it in. Fabinho gets his head to it, I think, but it takes a little nick, and then he's the first one to react to leathering it at the near post. Not often you see him score. Never mind get two in a game, but he won't be complaining. He should score more from set pieces, really. Like, I know Van Dijk's the obvious one because he's this big towering centre back. I think Konate should probably have done more from set pieces so far this season. Like,
a couple of chances today for Konate as well.
He had a couple of chances today. There was one where he headed it over, miles over, when he should have kept it down. Matip's a threat at set pieces, but Fabinho's that next one, because he can get his head on the air, in the air onto the ends of these set pieces, and he is a presence. And I think he enjoyed the fact that he could be a bit more offensive today. The fact that it was an FA Cup game, they're already 3-1 up. He's already scored a penalty. He could probably get on the end of it, and he celebrated that one well. You don't expect to see him score a brace, but maybe he'll get a few more now between now and the end of the season.
Well, the Reds are through to the fourth round, and we'll be finding out the opponents shortly. I believe it's 10-5. Theo, is there anything you'd like to see us get in the fourth round?
You're asking me a big one here. I don't have a clue who else has gone through. Someone reasonably easy and different, preferably at home, just because I want a cup run. It's been too long since Liverpool won the FA Cup. I think 2006 was the last win. Last time in the final was 2012. It's been too long. If you want to be pessimistic, they're not going to win the Premier League this year. It's going to be Man City's. I think it's too far back. It's going to take like a COVID outbreak or something at Man City to properly rock their boat and to give Liverpool and Chelsea the chance to properly catch up now. So when you're in the League Cup semi-finals and you've got the chance to go on a bit of an FA Cup run, you're in the Champions League knockout stages, maybe they should be priorities this year. Not saying give up on the league, but you know you're going to make top four anyway. Let's have a nice cup run. Let's get someone straightforward and just go for it, see how far you can get, and hopefully get 2 or 3 trips to Wembley this season.
Well, Theo, thank you very much for joining me. That's all we've got time for today. But for all of you watching, thank you very much as well. Keep your eyes peeled on the Liverpool Echoes Twitter account for all the reactions to the FA Cup fourth round draw. And we'll be back with the debrief for the Arsenal League Cup game on Thursday. I'm sure we'll all be looking forward to that one. But for now, it's goodbye.